The galaxy believed Earth was weak. For 20 years, humanity had been part of the Galactic Council. They followed every rule. They paid every tax. They shared technology and resources. They never started a war. Many alien leaders thought humans were too peaceful, too patient, too soft. Inside the massive council chamber, hundreds of species sat in floating platforms of light. The chamber was larger than any human city. Bright stars shined through transparent walls. It was a place of power, and today Earth's ambassador stood alone in the center. Ambassador Daniel Hayes was calm, but he felt the tension in the air. Something was wrong. The council had called this emergency meeting without explanation. He looked around. No one greeted him. No one smiled. The High Chancellor of the Council, a tall silver-skinned being from the Arcturian Empire, rose slowly. "Earth has grown too fast," the Chancellor said. His voice echoed across the chamber. "Human expansion rate exceeds acceptable projections." A quiet wave of whispers spread. Ambassador Hayes frowned. "Human expansion has followed every council law," he replied. "We have violated nothing." Another council member stood. "That is not the issue," it said coldly. "The issue is potential." The chamber grew darker. "We have studied your military research," the Chancellor continued. "Your shipyards, your hidden defense projects." Hayes felt a chill. Hidden projects? Hayes felt a chill. Hidden projects? "Every species prepares defenses," he said carefully. "That is normal." The Chancellor's eyes glowed brighter. "Not like yours." With a motion of his hand, holograms filled the chamber. Images of human shipyards near Jupiter, underground facilities beneath Earth's oceans, energy readings from deep space. Gasps spread among alien delegates. Hayes stared at the images. Some of them were real. Some were clearly guesses. But the message was clear. The Council had been spying on Earth. "Humanity represents a future threat to galactic stability," the Chancellor announced. The words hit like a weapon. Hayes' voice hardened. "We have attacked no one, but you could," another delegate said. Silence followed. Then the vote began. One by one, species cast their decision. Containment, sanctions, military blockade. Hayes felt the weight of betrayal. For years, Earth had supported smaller species. They had shared food during famines, medical technology during plagues, defense support against pirates. And now the Council feared them. The final vote was cast. By majority decision, the Chancellor declared, "Earth is placed under immediate containment, all trade routes suspended, all fleet movement restricted. A protective military ring will surround human space." Protective. Hayes knew what that meant. It meant prison. He straightened his back. "You are making a mistake." The Chancellor looked down at him. "Humanity will understand this is for the greater good." "No," Hayes said quietly. "You misunderstand humanity." But the chamber lights dimmed. Security fields activated around him. The meeting was over. Across the Sol system, alarms began to sound. At first, it was only small warnings, trade ships reporting delays, navigation systems detecting unusual fleet formations. Then the images came, alien warships entering nearby systems, heavy cruisers, carriers, destroyers. Earth Command received reports from every direction. "They're forming a blockade," an officer said inside the United Earth Defense Headquarters. Massive holographic displays showed red markers surrounding human space. The President of Earth stood silently watching. "Have they attacked?" she asked. "Not yet," the Fleet Admiral replied. "But they're positioning strike groups near outer colonies." On Mars, civilians looked up as foreign ships appeared in orbit. On Titan, mining stations reported scanning beams sweeping their facilities. The galaxy's so-called peacekeepers were pointing weapons at humanity. Back inside the council chamber, Ambassador Hayes was escorted to his transport ship. Before boarding, he sent one final secure message to Earth. "It has begun." Far from public view, beneath kilometers of ocean water, something activated. Deep under the Pacific Ocean, enormous blast doors slowly opened. In hidden dry docks carved into mountain ranges, sealed chambers unlocked. On the far side of the moon, shadowed structures powered on for the first time in decades. Humanity had not been idle. For years, while smiling in council meetings, Earth had been preparing. Not for conquest, for survival. The fleet admiral stood in a restricted control room. Only a few leaders were present. He placed his hand on a biometric scanner. Authorization code, Aegis protocol. The lights flickered. Across the solar system, encrypted signals transmitted simultaneously. Inside the oceans, enormous shapes rose from darkness. Ships larger than cities, built with layered armor and unknown energy cores. Near Jupiter, massive shipyard rings rotated to life. AI cores activated, weapon systems calibrated, crew members moved with disciplined speed. These were not standard defense ships. These were warships, not shown to the galaxy, not registered with the Council, built in silence. Back at Earth Command, the President spoke calmly. Send one message to the Council. The transmission was short. Remove your fleets from our territory. Minutes passed. The response came. Denied. Alien fleets tightened their formation. Weapon arrays powered up. They expected surrender. They expected surrender. They expected fear. Instead, Earth Command went quiet. No speeches. No threats. Only one final order. The fleet admiral looked at the tactical display. Hundreds of hidden signals now appeared. Release the fleet. In the darkness beyond the moon, space distorted. The first human battleship moved forward. Its hull reflected the light of the sun like a blade. Behind it, dozens more emerged, then hundreds. The war fleet of Earth had awakened, and the galaxy had no idea what it had just unleashed. In the council chamber, emergency alerts began flashing. Long-range sensors detected massive energy spikes inside Sol. "What is this?" the Chancellor demanded. An officer replied with shaking voice. "Human fleet signatures, unknown classes, extreme power output." The Chancellor's expression changed for the first time. Fear. Back in Sol's system, the war fleet aligned in perfect formation, weapons armed, shields activated. Human commanders did not shout. They did not celebrate. They prepared, because humanity did not start wars. But when betrayed, they answered. And the arrival of Earth's war fleet was only the beginning. The galaxy expected panic. They expected Earth to beg. Instead, humanity went silent. Across the Sol system, civilian networks remained calm. No chaos, no riots. News stations reported the blockade with steady voices. Schools remained open. Factories continued working. To the alien observers watching from orbit, it looked like denial. But inside military command centers, everything had changed. The war fleet moved without public announcement. Beyond the orbit of Neptune, hidden defense platforms powered up and locked into position. Around Jupiter, massive shipyards began releasing ships that had never been seen before. These were not patrol vessels. These were not escorts. These ships were built for large-scale war. Each carried weapons capable of cracking the shields of a capital world. Each carried armor layered with experimental alloys designed to absorb extreme energy impact. And most importantly, each ship was controlled by advanced tactical AI that could predict enemy movement before it happened. The fleet admiral stood before a giant holographic map of the solar system. Red markers surrounded human space. Alien fleets from 5 major species formed the containment ring. "They think this is a warning," one officer said quietly. The admiral shook his head. "No," he replied. "This is a first step." On the outer edge of the blockade, alien commanders grew impatient. A Carthian warlord aboard the battleship Raxus Prime stared at the silent blue planet through his display screen. "Humans are afraid," he growled. "They hide behind their star." Another commander responded. "Our scans show no aggressive movement." "Then we push closer," the warlord ordered. Alien ships advanced. Their weapons remained powered, but not fired. They wanted to pressure Earth. Force negotiation, force submission. They did not understand something important. Human silence was not fear, it was calculation. Deep under Earth's surface, in a chamber known only to the highest leaders, the final decision was made. The president stood beside the fleet admiral and a small group of generals. "If they fire first?" she asked. "We respond with full force," the admiral said. And if they continue to tighten the blockade? The Admiral paused. Then we remove it. There was no anger in his voice, only certainty. Suddenly, alarms rang across Earth Command. An outer colony station near Pluto reported direct targeting scans from an alien destroyer group. They are locking weapons, an officer shouted. On screen, bright red targeting lines appeared over the colony habitat. Families lived there. Miners, engineers, children. The alien fleet sent a message. This station violates containment distance. This station violates containment distance. Shut down operations immediately or face enforcement. The station commander replied calmly, "We are inside legal boundaries recognized by the Council Charter." The alien response was cold. Those boundaries no longer apply. Energy levels on the destroyers increased. Inside Earth Command, silence filled the room. The fleet admiral gave the order. Activate Shield Net Omega. Instantly, hidden defense satellites around Pluto came online. A powerful shield grid formed around the colony station, glowing faintly in the darkness. The alien destroyers hesitated. Then one fired. A bright beam of energy shot across space and struck the shield. The impact shook the station, but the shield held. Back on the alien flagship, confusion spread. Shield strength exceeds projections, an officer reported. The warlord snarled. Fire again. Before they could charge a second shot, space itself rippled. Out of the distortion, 3 human warships appeared. They were massive. Angular hulls, dark metal surfaces, weapons glowing with contained power. The lead ship transmitted one message. You have fired on a civilian colony. Withdraw immediately. The alien warlord laughed. 3 ships, he said. We have 12. He ordered a full volley. Alien weapons lit up space, but the human ships did not move. Their shields absorbed the blasts with minimal fluctuation. Then the lead human warship responded. One precise beam. It sliced cleanly through the nearest destroyer. The alien ship split apart silently. Shock filled the enemy bridge. Another human ship fired. 2 more destroyers exploded in controlled bursts of light. Within seconds, half the alien formation was gone. The remaining ships attempted retreat. The human commander allowed it. A final message was sent. This was a warning. Do not test us again. The surviving alien ships fled. Across the galaxy, emergency transmissions flooded the Council. Human vessels engaged and destroyed containment ships. They possess unknown warship classes. Power levels exceed treaty limits. Inside the Council chamber, chaos replaced confidence. The Chancellor demanded updated intelligence. How many ships does Earth possess? He asked. No one had an answer. Back in Sol's system, the warfleet continued moving into formation, not aggressively, strategically. Defense platforms linked with battleship groups. Carrier wings deployed stealth fighters along hidden routes. Everything was organized. Everything was prepared. The fleet admiral watched as more alien fleets repositioned. They will test us again, one officer said. Yes, the admiral replied. And next time, they will not stop at one colony. He turned to the president. They wanted to contain us quietly. The president looked at the expanding formation of human warships on the holographic map. And now? She asked. The admiral's voice remained steady. Now they will learn why humanity builds in silence. Far beyond Pluto, deep in the dark edge of the solar system, something enormous began moving. A ship so large it had never been activated before. A flagship. Its engines glowed like a newborn star. And as it powered up, encrypted signals echoed through every human warship. The next phase had begun. The galaxy believed it had surrounded Earth, but they were starting to realize something terrifying. They were not containing humanity. They were standing inside its defensive perimeter. And the warfleet was only getting started. The first clash near Pluto was not war. It was a message. But the Council did not understand messages. They understood power, and they believed they still had more of it. Inside the Council chamber, fear slowly turned into anger. The destruction of several containment ships had shocked many species, but pride was stronger than caution. They attacked Council forces, one delegate shouted. They fired first, another argued. The Chancellor raised his hand for silence. Humanity has revealed hidden military strength, he said coldly. This confirms our fears. Immediate escalation is authorized. The order spread quickly. Reinforcement fleets began moving from multiple systems toward Sol. Heavy carriers, planetary assault cruisers, long-range siege platforms. This was no longer containment. This was invasion. In Earth Command, alarms rang again. Long-range scanners detected large fleet movements. The holographic map filled with red symbols. They are committing primary forces, an officer reported. The fleet admiral studied the display carefully. How many? He asked. At least 4 major battle groups, more incoming. The president remained calm. They have chosen war. The admiral nodded slowly. Yes. He turned to his command staff. Begin Phase 2. Far beyond Saturn's orbit, hidden in deep shadow, the massive flagship finished activation. Its name appeared across secure channels, UES Aegis Dominion. It was larger than any alien capital ship. Its hull carried layered energy shielding capable of adapting to different weapon types. Its core housed a quantum tactical AI linked to every ship in the fleet. As it moved forward, smaller warships formed protective formations around it. The warfleet was no longer defensive. It was forming a spear. The alien fleets entered Sol space with confidence. Their commanders believed numbers would overwhelm humanity. Thousands of ships moved in organized attack lines. Fighters launched in waves. Heavy cruisers charged main weapons. They expected resistance. They did not expect coordination like this. The moment alien forces crossed a specific invisible boundary near the asteroid belt, human forces reacted. Hidden minefields activated between asteroids. Stealth frigates uncloaked behind enemy formations. Electronic warfare pulses disrupted alien targeting systems. Confusion spread instantly. What is happening to our sensors? An alien officer shouted. On the main display, their forward assault group suddenly disappeared. Human strike ships had emerged directly inside their formation. Precise, calculated, deadly. In Earth Command, human officers moved with calm focus. The fleet admiral watched battle projections in real time. Divide their center, he ordered. Isolate the carriers. Human destroyer wings accelerated through narrow gaps in the asteroid field. They avoided direct confrontation, targeting shield generators and communication relays instead. Alien fleets began losing coordination, but they were still powerful. One alien dreadnought managed to lock weapons onto a human cruiser. The blast tore through the cruiser's outer armor. The ship drifted, damaged but not destroyed. Inside the cruiser, crew members worked quickly. Shields at 40%. Engine output stabilizing. The captain wiped blood from his forehead. Return fire. The cruiser unleashed a focused plasma lance that cut directly into the dreadnought's reactor core. The alien ship exploded in bright fragments. Human ships did not cheer. They adjusted formation and continued fighting. Meanwhile, the Aegis Dominion entered battle range. Alien commanders immediately targeted it. Energy beams and missile swarms flooded toward the massive human flagship. The impacts lit up space. For a moment, alien leaders believed they had destroyed it. Then the light faded. The flagship's shields held. Without hesitation, the Dominion responded. Its main weapon charged. Space around it seemed to bend as energy gathered. Then it fired. A single beam crossed millions of kilometers in seconds. An entire alien assault line vanished. Ships did not explode. They disintegrated. Panic spread through alien communications. This is impossible. They cannot have this level of firepower. Retreat orders began circulating among lower commanders, but the Council's primary fleet leader transmitted a strict command: advance, overwhelm them. And that was the moment they crossed the line. The alien fleet redirected its heaviest weapons toward Mars. Civilian cities glowed on the planet's surface. They intended to threaten humanity's home. Inside Earth Command, the room went silent. They are targeting a populated world, an officer whispered. The president's face hardened. No more warnings. The fleet admiral's voice became colder than ever before. Authorize full combat clearance. Across every human warship, restrictions lifted. Advanced weapon systems previously held in reserve came online. Prototype gravitic cannons, autonomous attack drones, long-range antimatter lances. Humanity stopped holding back. The war fleet shifted formation instantly. Strike wings intercepted missiles headed toward Mars. Shield satellites activated planetary defense grids. Then the counterattack began. Human ships moved with surgical precision. They did not charge wildly. They cut enemy formations apart piece by piece. Isolated ships were surrounded and disabled. Carriers were destroyed first. Command ships next. Within an hour, the massive alien invasion force was no longer an organized fleet. It was scattered debris and retreating fragments. The remaining alien ships attempted emergency jumps. Many failed. The Aegis Dominion transmitted one final message across all channels. You were warned. Silence followed. Back in the council chamber, emergency feeds showed the battlefield. Entire fleets lost. Billions of credits in warships destroyed. And Earth still stood untouched. The Chancellor felt something he had not felt in centuries. Doubt. How many ships do they truly have? He whispered. No one answered, because they were beginning to realize something terrifying. This was not Earth's full strength. This was measured response, and if humanity decided to stop defending and start advancing, the galaxy would never be the same again. In Sol system, debris drifted slowly among the stars. Human ships regrouped in perfect order. Damage reports were minimal compared to enemy losses. The fleet admiral looked at the tactical display. Prepare long-range strike routes, he ordered quietly. The president glanced at him. We are not pursuing yet. No, he agreed. But they need to understand. He paused. They are not containing us. The hologram zoomed outward, showing the surrounding star systems. They are within our reach. And far away in Council territory, defensive fleets were already scrambling. Because humanity had just proven one truth. They did not fear the galaxy. The galaxy now feared them. The battle in Sol was over. But the war was not. In the dark silence after the invasion failed, alien survivors carried one message back to the Council. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was prepared. Inside the Council chamber, emergency sessions continued without rest. Large holographic displays showed destroyed fleets drifting in human space. Entire battle groups erased in less than 2 hours. The Chancellor stood motionless. They defended successfully, one advisor said carefully. Perhaps we should negotiate. The Chancellor's eyes narrowed. They have already attacked Council forces. They fired after we targeted Mars, another delegate replied quietly. The room fell silent. Everyone knew the truth. They had pushed too far, but pride is stronger than truth. The Chancellor gave one final order. Activate the outer defense ring. Mobilize all systems near the border. Humanity will not cross into Council space. He believed that statement. He needed to believe it. In Sol system, the war fleet regrouped near Jupiter. Damage reports were complete. Casualties were lower than expected. Repairs were already underway. The fleet admiral stood before the massive display table. The Aegis Dominion floated behind him in orbit, surrounded by hundreds of warships. They will fortify, one officer said. Yes, the admiral replied, because now they understand. The president entered the command room. We defended, she said calmly. Our citizens are safe. The admiral looked at her. For now. She studied the map of surrounding star systems. They will try again. Yes. And next time, she continued, they will come with something worse. The admiral nodded slowly. So we make sure there is no next time. The room became quiet. Humanity had never invaded another species without reason. But this was not conquest. This was prevention. The president gave the order. Authorize controlled advance. Across the war fleet, engines powered up, jump coordinates calculated, target systems selected, not civilian worlds, not trade hubs, military shipyards, fleet command centers, strategic defense platforms. Human ships formed long-range assault formations. The Aegis Dominion took the lead. Then, space bent. The fleet vanished from Sol. In the border system of Valkyris, alien defense fleets waited nervously. Long-range sensors had detected unusual energy signatures, but no one expected the arrival to be immediate. Space tore open without warning. Human warships emerged in perfect formation, no hesitation, no broadcast. Alien defense commanders panicked. They have crossed the border. Engage all batteries. Defense platforms fired. Heavy plasma cannons lit up space. But the human fleet had already anticipated this. Forward shield cruisers absorbed the first wave. Behind them, precision strike frigates launched focused attacks at shield generators on the defense stations. Within minutes, the Valkyris orbital platforms went dark. Not destroyed, disabled, human ships advanced deeper into the system. Military shipyards attempted emergency evacuation. Too slow, the Aegis Dominion charged its main weapon. But this time, the beam did not target a fleet. It targeted the shipyard construction rings. A controlled strike. The rings shattered. The dry docks collapsed into drifting metal. No civilian districts were touched. A message transmitted across Valkyris. This system is no longer a military staging ground. The message was not angry. It was calm. Back in the council chamber, chaos returned. They are dismantling border defenses. They are not attacking cities. They are removing our military capacity. The chancellor clenched his fists. They are humiliating us. Another advisor spoke carefully. They are demonstrating control. And that was the worst part. Humanity was not raging across space. They were moving with discipline. Every strike was calculated. Every target chosen for strategic value. Within hours, 3 border systems lost major shipyards. Fleet production dropped by 30%. Alien species that once supported the blockade began reconsidering their position. They could have destroyed our worlds, one delegate whispered. But they didn't. Doubt began spreading faster than fear. Meanwhile, deeper inside Council territory, a classified project activated. Hidden in a distant system, engineers powered up a massive structure, a weapon designed in secret, a gravity well manipulator. If activated near Sol, it could destabilize Earth's star. The project leader transmitted to the Chancellor, "We are ready." The Chancellor hesitated. If used, it would escalate the war beyond repair. But defeat was approaching. "Prepare to deploy," he ordered. Human intelligence networks intercepted fragments of unusual energy signatures. The fleet admiral received the report aboard the Aegis Dominion. Unknown structure powering up in Council core systems. Purpose? He asked. Unclear. Energy levels extreme. The admiral's expression hardened. They are desperate. He turned to navigation command. Set course for the signal origin. Human ships pivoted immediately. Their advance changed direction. No announcement. No warning. The Council's secret weapon would not remain secret for long. As the war fleet jumped toward the core systems, alien civilians watched in fear. They expected destruction. They expected revenge. Instead, human broadcasts began appearing across public networks. "We are targeting military assets only. We do not seek your extinction. We seek stability." This confused many species. They had been told humanity was dangerous, unstable, aggressive. But the evidence showed something different. Controlled strength. Near the hidden gravity weapon, Council engineers detected incoming warp signatures. Multiple large vessels approaching at high speed. How did they locate us? Before evacuation could begin, human strike teams launched from stealth transports. Boarding pods pierced the outer shell of the weapon platform. Inside, human soldiers moved quickly. They disabled power cores, secured control rooms, captured engineers alive. Within 30 minutes, the gravity weapon was offline. The Aegis Dominion arrived seconds later. The fleet admiral sent a direct message to the Council. "You were prepared to burn our star." Silence answered. "You have lost the right to lead." Across the galaxy, everything changed. Humanity had not only defended, they had crossed into enemy territory, neutralized secret superweapons, and still avoided civilian harm. The myth of human weakness was gone, but something new replaced it: respect and fear. Back aboard the Aegis Dominion, the fleet admiral looked toward the distant Council capital system. "Prepare final approach calculations," he ordered quietly. Because the war was entering its final stage, and this time, humanity would decide how it ends. The galaxy had never seen the Council afraid. For centuries, it ruled through authority, law, and fleets. Entire systems obeyed its voice without question. But now its fleets were broken, its borders were open, its secret weapon was captured, and the human warfleet was approaching the capital system. Inside the council chamber, emergency lights glowed red. Delegates argued openly. Accusations flew across the room. You told us humanity was a future threat. They are a present reality. We should have negotiated. We should have destroyed them when we had the chance. The Chancellor stood at the center, silent. He watched the tactical projection. Human fleet signatures were moving through hyperspace corridors with terrifying speed. They were not stopping. They were coming directly toward the heart of Council authority. In the capital system of Lendar, massive defense platforms rotated into position. Planetary shields activated. Thousands of warships formed protective layers around the Council world. This was the largest defensive formation in galactic history. If humanity attacked here, it would be total war. But something felt different. Human ships were not spreading across civilian sectors. They were heading straight toward military command structures. They were not hunting cities. They were hunting power. Aboard the Aegis Dominion, the fleet admiral studied the capital system layout. Outer fleet density high, an officer reported. Shield grid at maximum. The admiral nodded. They expect revenge. He turned to the communications officer. Open system-wide broadcast. The signal transmitted across every frequency in Elendar. This is United Earth Command. Panic spread across civilian networks. Shops closed. Transport systems halted. Families gathered inside shielded buildings. But the message continued calmly. We will not target civilians. We will not destroy your world. We will dismantle the system that attacked ours. The words echoed through the capital planet cities. Confusion replaced terror. The Council's primary fleet commander growled at the transmission. They are manipulating public perception. Should we respond? An aide asked. No. We crush them. The defensive fleets charged weapons. Missile clouds formed. Energy cannons aimed. The human war fleet exited hyperspace at the edge of the system. Hundreds of ships. Then more. Then more. The scale was undeniable. The alien commander gave the order. Fire. Fire. Thousands of weapons lit up space. The sky of Elendar became a storm of light. Human ships responded instantly. Shield cruisers moved forward to absorb impact. Drone swarms deployed to intercept missile waves. Electronic warfare pulses disrupted targeting locks. The battle began. Unlike previous engagements, this fight was heavier. The Council had concentrated its strongest remaining forces here. Several human destroyers were struck. One cruiser lost engines and drifted, but coordination never broke. The Aegis Dominion advanced steadily. It did not rush. It cut through formations with controlled precision fire. Human strike wings bypassed frontline ships and targeted orbital command relays. Defense platforms began losing synchronization. Shield coverage flickered. Within 40 minutes, the outer defense ring collapsed. Alien ships attempted to regroup closer to the planet. That was when the Aegis Dominion charged its main cannon. Energy gathered like a forming star. But it did not aim at the planet. It aimed at the central military command station orbiting above it. The beam fired. The station vanished. Council fleet coordination dropped instantly. Panic spread across their channels. We've lost central command. Fallback protocols failing. Human ships pressed forward, not wildly, not cruelly, efficiently. One by one, military vessels were disabled or destroyed. Within 2 hours, the capital system's defense fleets were no longer a unified force. They were scattered fragments trying to survive. Inside the council chamber, the lights dimmed. Real-time battle footage showed human ships surrounding the planet, but no bombardment came. No invasion pods descended, no citadel burned. The Chancellor slowly sat down. They could destroy us, one delegate whispered. Yes, another replied. And they are choosing not to. For the first time, the Council understood something deeper. Humanity was not fighting for domination. They were fighting to end the threat permanently. A direct communication signal penetrated the chamber's security field. The fleet admiral appeared as a hologram in the center of the room. He stood calmly in full uniform. Behind him, the massive hull of the Aegis Dominion was visible. "This ends now," he said. The Chancellor stared at him. "You invade sovereign territory." "You invaded ours first," the Admiral replied evenly. "You have destroyed Council fleets. You targeted our civilians." The room fell silent. The Admiral continued. "We have neutralized your military capacity. We have captured your illegal gravity weapon. We have evidence of your premeditated containment vote. Screens around the chamber activated. Encrypted documents appeared. Secret communications between council members planning the blockade months in advance." Shock rippled through the delegates. "You betrayed the very charter you claimed to protect," the Admiral said. The Chancellor's confidence shattered. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. The Admiral answered without hesitation. "Dissolution of the current Council leadership. Immediate withdrawal of all hostile forces. Recognition of Earth as equal sovereign power. And if we refuse?" The Admiral's eyes did not move. "You have seen our restraint." Silence filled the chamber like gravity. The council members looked at each other. For the first time in their long rule, they were not the strongest voice in the galaxy. Outside, the human war fleet maintained perfect formation. Weapons locked. Waiting. Inside the chamber, one by one, delegates began speaking. "We withdraw support. We demand leadership review." This war was initiated under false threat assessment. The Chancellor realized something final. He had lost, not because humanity destroyed his world, but because they exposed his weakness. Within minutes, an emergency vote was called. Leadership dissolved. The old council was no more. In orbit, human ships did not celebrate. They powered down main weapons. They held position. The fleet admiral watched as new diplomatic channels opened from Alandar. The president's voice came through secure line. "Status? The council has fallen," he replied. She was silent for a moment. "And the galaxy?" He looked at the planet below. "They are watching." Because what humanity had done was not conquest. It was demonstration. They had crossed into enemy territory, broken their fleets, exposed corruption, and stood above the capital world without firing on it. That kind of power changes history, and the next decision would shape the future of the entire galaxy.